Okay, so this is the MagSafe Battery Pack for the iPhone Air. I do agree with most people that this battery pack is slightly overpriced compared to many other third-party power banks out there. But after testing this battery pack more extensively for the past week, I found out that this battery pack actually has some merits over other third-party power banks. So in this video, I'm going to be doing a deep dive on this battery pack, and I'm going to show you some of the charging data, temperature data, and also some features that other reviewers might not have shown you. So without further delay, let's talk about the first one, and that is the charging speed. From my testing, this battery pack managed to bring my iPhone Air from 0 to 70%, so that's 5% more than the claimed 65%. It took 2 hours and 15 minutes to get there, which I would say is slightly long, but the temperature is cooler than most third-party power banks, which typically heats up the iPhone to about 40 to 41 degrees Celsius. Next up, pass-through charging. What you may not have noticed is that Apple actually claimed that you can get faster wireless charging speed from this battery pack by charging it during wireless charging. Based on the results, it does indeed take significantly less time to get to 70%, but the max temperature is also quite a bit higher, reaching close to 42 degrees Celsius due to the faster charging speed. But interestingly, if I were to compare the charging test results with Apple's 25 watts MagSafe charger, pass-through charging using this battery pack is only 4 minutes slower from the 0 to 80% range. Given that this battery pack can also charge the AirPods Pro as well as other iPhone models if you were to rotate them horizontally, you can actually use this battery pack as a low-profile wireless charger on your desk if you were to keep it connected to power all the time. And when you do need to bring it out, just unplug it from the power and it will be at full battery. But unfortunately, it cannot charge the Apple Watch, which means that it won't be a 3-in-1 charger, and that feels like a missed opportunity. Next up, reverse wired charging. The USB-C port at the bottom is actually capable of doing wired charging, so you can actually charge the iPhone Air using a cable instead of wireless charging. But it is only able to output about 7.5 watts of power. So I did another test where I used the wired charging method to charge the iPhone Air starting from 0% battery. The iPhone Air got to 74%, which is only 4% more than wireless charging. But it did stay much cooler and reach 70% more quickly, so if you don't like the heat from wireless charging, you can use the wired charging method instead. By the way, if this video has been helpful so far, do consider hitting the like button and subscribing because I'm aiming to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Next up, battery pack charging. The battery pack itself takes about 1 hour and 51 minutes to go from 0 to 100%. For a power bank with such a small battery capacity, I would say it's pretty slow, but it did stay relatively cool most of the time during the charging. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell the exact battery percentage on the battery pack, except if you were to attach it to an iPhone. You will need to create a battery widget in order to see the battery percentage, but it's a pity that I can't monitor it wirelessly, like how I can do so with my AirPods Pro, so I will know when I need to charge it. There is also no Find My feature for this battery pack, which means that if you do lose it, you won't be able to track it. Apple probably didn't add these features so that they can keep the discharge rate on the battery pack as low as possible. Next up, smart features. Now, this battery pack can actually communicate with your iPhone in a way that no other third-party power banks can. For example, by default, the battery pack will only charge the iPhone Air up to 90% battery even if you have set your charging limit to 100%. But you can actually override this default setting by creating a low power mode shortcut button in the control center. Then, while the battery pack is connected to the iPhone Air, you can actually tap on the low power mode button to make it charge beyond 100%. But if the iPhone Air's battery is already at 100%, when you attach the battery pack to the iPhone Air, it will let the iPhone Air drain to 90% first, then keep it there afterwards. And one more interesting thing is that third-party power banks will typically switch themselves off once the phone is fully charged. But this battery pack doesn't switch off because the battery icon shows that the iPhone Air is constantly charging for as long as the battery pack is attached to it. The battery pack is actually doing what's known as trickle charging, which basically means that it is sending small amounts of power to the iPhone Air whenever it loses a bit of power. All of these little features that I mentioned shows that the battery pack's charging behavior can be controlled intelligently by the operating system of your iPhone, which is something that no other third-party power banks can do. Next up, design. The texture on this battery pack feels very similar to Apple's original silicone cases for iPhones, which does feel very premium and comfortable, but it does feel slightly slippery as well. It fits the iPhone Air perfectly, but not any other iPhone, which is a pity because that would have made it better for sharing between friends and family members who might own a different model of iPhone. But the contours and slimness on this battery pack makes the iPhone Air still feel very ergonomic to hold even with the battery pack attached to it. It is slimmer than practically every other third-party power bank out there, so if you prioritize slimness, then this is the best to get. And it would be even better if it can come with some sort of built-in foldable stand so that you can prop up the iPhone Air while you're watching videos. There are vertical magnets at the bottom to resist rotation, but depending on the material of the case you are using, it can still be somewhat easy to rotate it. The magnetic strength is pretty alright, not the strongest out there, but it is still strong enough for me to be confident with using it while hanging the iPhone Air across my body using the crossbody strap. So overall, this battery pack is not like your super fast third-party power banks that can do 25 watts of wireless charging. It uses a slower charging approach to avoid generating too much heat and protect the iPhone Air's battery. This does mean that it will have to stay on your iPhone Air longer, but its slimness and ergonomic design makes it much more comfortable to use compared to some of the other thicker, higher capacity power banks out there. So if you prioritize slimness and thermal management over fast charging and battery capacity, then I think you will be the target audience for this battery pack. Alright, that's all I have for this battery pack. If you like my style of review, I actually have another video on the iPhone Air where I will show you tons of data that other reviewers do not show you, and I've also cleared up some misconceptions about the performance of the iPhone Air. So if you're interested, you can check out this video over here. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.